Huh? What?
Like and subscribe.
Abandoned barn shelter. We didn't choose this place because it was good. We chose it because it was still standing. An abandoned barn, far from villages, far from roads, surrounded by empty fields and broken fences. The kind of place most players would pass without stopping. Inside, there were animals left behind. A cow, a few chickens, even a couple of horses. All quiet, all calm, as if nothing bad had ever happened here. That calm felt strange, unnatural, but at the same time comforting, because after everything we had been through, silence felt safer than movement. We decided to stay, not permanently, just long enough to recover. The barn became our shelter, our routine, our way of pretending that survival could be normal again. We chopped wood outside during the day, always looking around before every swing of the axe, listening more than we worked. We cooked food, ate slowly, fed the animals one by one, checking the doors, the corners. The next day passed almost the same. Work, food, repairs, small routines that made the barn feel less abandoned and more like a temporary home. Then, without warning, the sound came. A siren, distant, mechanical, unfamiliar. Not loud at first, not aggressive, just existing in the air, cutting through everything else. We froze instantly. No one moved, no one spoke, because sounds like that don't belong to normal structures in this world. First, we couldn't understand what it was. It didn't feel like Siren Head, not yet, just a signal repeating itself over and over, pulling attention, whether you wanted it or not. Fear came first, curiosity followed right behind it. That curiosity won. We armed ourselves, checked our surroundings, and slowly moved toward the sound. Away from the barn, away from the animals we had started to care about. The siren led us to a strange place. An abandoned store, standing alone, windows broken, doors open, as if someone had left in a hurry and never returned. Beside it stood a police car, old, unmoving, silent. No lights, no signs of recent life. Across the river nearby, we saw it clearly, a warning sign, danger. That single word changed everything. It wasn't just atmosphere anymore, it was intention. Someone had placed that sign for a reason. We didn't cross the river. We didn't explore further. Whatever had happened there, it hadn't ended well. The siren faded, leaving only questions behind. We turned back toward the barn faster than we left. After the siren and the warning sign, the barn no longer felt like a shelter. It felt like a place that could be found. We tried to focus on simple things. Feeding the animals again, checking the doors, placing torches in spots that were too dark. Every small task felt necessary, like staying busy to keep unwanted things away. Outside, the night was unusually quiet. No zombies, no spiders, not even distant sounds from caves. That kind of silence presses against your ears, making you listen harder than you want to. Then we heard it. A sound so low at first that it almost blended into the environment. Deep, wet, heavy. It wasn't close yet, but it didn't sound far either. We stopped moving instantly. The noise repeated itself, slow and deliberate, like something massive shifting its weight. There was no doubt anymore. This wasn't just ambience. This was something alive. We stepped outside, despite the darkness, moving carefully, not because we wanted to, but because staying still felt worse. The sound led us away from the barn toward the direction of the lake. With every step it became clearer, deeper, more physical, vibrating slightly through the ground. When we finally reached a point where the water reflected the sky, we saw it, sea eater, not rushing. It didn't acknowledge us. It didn't need to. The size alone was enough to make it clear that if it turned in our direction, there would be no escape. It didn't stay to watch. We didn't test our luck. The moment lasted only seconds. It felt longer because every second mattered. Shallow hole into something deeper. It wasn't a bunker, it wasn't safe, but it was hidden. That was enough. We waited there, underground, barely breathing, listening. The sound passed by, heavy, slow, close enough to remind us how thin the distance between survival and disaster really was. Without light, without movement, you lose track of minutes easily. At some point, exhaustion took over, and we slept in that narrow space beneath the barn floor. When we finally did, everything felt quiet again. Too quiet. Carefully, we expanded the hole. What started as a hiding spot turned into a small tunnel system. One exit led back into the barn, hidden beneath loose blocks and hay. The other led outward, a narrow escape path that opened into the fields nearby. It wasn't comfortable, but it was smart. For the first time since hearing the sea eater, we felt slightly more prepared that no monsters appeared that morning. No sounds, no movement near the lake. Taking advantage of the calm, we returned to our routine, this time with more caution. We planted seeds, fed the chickens, repaired parts of the barn that were close to collapsing. Every repair felt temporary, but doing nothing felt worse. After that, we didn't stop. The quiet felt borrowed, like the world was allowing us a short pause before the next problem. We moved around the barn constantly, checking corners we had ignored before, reinforcing weak spots, replacing broken blocks, setting new doors where the structure was too open. Every entrance felt like a possible mistake if left unprotected. I focused on sealing gaps, adjusting fences, making sure nothing could slip inside unnoticed. My friend gathered materials nearby, returning again and again, not rushing, just working with purpose. We weren't expecting an attack at that moment, but we wanted to be ready if something appeared without warning. The barn slowly changed from a temporary shelter into something closer to a fortified place. Every sound outside still made us pause for a second, listening carefully, but nothing came. The lake remained still. The fields stayed empty. Even the wind felt restrained. It was during this stretch of calm that we understood something important. This world doesn't attack constantly. Sometimes it waits. And when it waits, it gives you just enough time to decide whether you'll be ready for what comes next. We used the tunnels to reach a nearby cave system, digging deeper, gathering resources, breaking stone and ore with focused urgency. Iron became our priority. By the time we returned to the barn, we had enough to craft armor. It wasn't perfect, but it was protection. Something solid between us and whatever else this world wanted to send our way. Wearing that armor changed how we moved. We still felt afraid, but now fear had weight, not paralysis. We weren't invincible, but we weren't helpless either. This time it wasn't distant or unclear. It echoed clearly through the air, sharper, more familiar, closer to something we had hoped not to encounter. Again, we froze instinctively, listening. The sound pulled us in the same direction as before, toward the abandoned store and the river. Prepared carefully, checked our gear, and moved out. The barn faded behind us as we approached the riverbank. That's when we saw it. Where the danger sign once stood alone, something else had appeared. Shadow Siren head. Tall, motionless, dark silhouette blending into the environment as if it belonged there more than we did. Then, without warning, it vanished. No sound, no transition, just gone. The absence felt heavier than its presence. It didn't attack. It didn't move. For a moment, it felt like a statue. Against better judgment, we crossed the river. The warning had been ignored. We stepped onto territory that didn't feel meant for survival. The forest on the other side was different. Snow covered the ground lightly, absorbing sound, making every step feel isolated. Trees blocked vision, shadows stretched unnaturally between trunks. As we moved deeper, signs of something hidden began to appear. Strange structures, unnatural patterns. This place wasn't abandoned by accident. Before moving any closer, we stopped and observed the area around the crater. From above, it was hard to tell how deep it went, only that the ground had been torn apart long ago. Then we saw it, a crater-like opening in the ground, and inside it, a lone bunker, sealed, silent, waiting. We didn't know why we wanted to approach it. Curiosity again. That same pull that always came before things went wrong. We descended carefully using a rope, landing near the entrance. Instead of rushing toward the bunker, we circled the area first. We climbed down a short distance to get a better angle, then pulled back up again. From different sides, the bunker looked the same every time. Solid, closed, untouched. The bunker was locked. No way in from the front. As we searched, my friend noticed something above, ventilation. Narrow but open, just a structure that didn't belong in a place like this. For a moment, we debated whether this was even a good idea. The sirens, the crater, the silence, everything suggested this place had a history we didn't understand. But nothing appeared. No monsters. No movement. The longer we stayed, the more the tension built, not because something happened, but because nothing did. That's when the air changed. First, it was subtle. A distant sound, low and distorted, echoing through the canyon walls. We saw it standing above us, massive shape against the sky, watching. Not attacking, just present. We didn't hesitate. We climbed inside the bunker and closed ourselves in. Darkness surrounded us.